Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. I'm excited to welcome back to our program today Debra Morrison. She first joined us here at Conversations Live last year. We're excited to talk to her not only about her work as a financial coach and author, but also a speaker as well. Debra celebrated something extra special in 2022 as well. She was chosen to celebrate Youth Woman of the Year for 2021. We'll talk to her about that experience and also how she's been able to use her platform to inspire others. Debra, really appreciate you being back on with us.
Thank you, Cyrus. It's my pleasure.
So, you've had quite the 2022 already, Debra, a lot going on for you. You've been staying quite busy. I hope you've had a chance to kind of catch your breath a little bit. But what has this experience been like for you to see how all of these things have been unfolding for you?
Well, Cyrus, it couldn't have been better, and I think that the universe is bringing various opportunities together at this very moment in time for me, and it is exactly the moment where I am finding if you will, my real purpose in life. Not that the 42 years of practicing certified financial planner and asset management wasn't purposeful. It certainly was. And yet as I sold that company and morphed into, as you said, 2 years ago, being a financial coach for women, it has become very clear to me that this is a manner and an occupation, if you will, a passion for me to leverage, Cyrus, my 42 years of wisdom, now 44, in terms of giving women a foothold, if you will, if in fact they haven't had one. And, when I had my practice, I was really focused on my 35 clients. And so this is really expanding my horizons by literally groups of zeros. I couldn't be happier because we can't let this kind of wisdom lie fallow, especially within our community of women and people that perhaps may need, some catch-up strategies because we haven't been socialized too well.
Right. Debra, the thing that I love about your platform and what you're able to do when it comes to being a financial coach and financial literacy is I think you make it less scary. I think for a lot of individuals, and you and I have talked about this before, especially when it comes to women, in finances, this conversation is so important. What has that been like for you to show women in particular that finances are something that they should be able to embrace, to celebrate, and to be able to learn how to best use?
Well, that's a perfect question, and it is so apropos that my genius, I think, is to use analogies a lot, and they just come to me. And the first one that I had promulgated was we've got to be as smart as squirrels, right? Squirrels gather nuts for the winter, long winter, when they can't find them out in the snow-covered Northeast, at least. Pardon me. And the ability for me to bring these concepts into women's vernacular, women's wheelhouse, is valuable because I see when I'm person to person or Zoom even, I see the light bulb go off, right? And when you have reached women or people in any makeup in a different capacity, they sit up a little taller, they kind of lean in towards thinking they have a seat at this table. And the fact is, Cyrus, we can get along in life without liking broccoli, right, or skydiving. But money is pretty central to our being and our success and our opportunities. That's why I'm so passionate about using analogies. It just works.
So, Debra, when did you realize it? When did you realize for yourself the importance of being financially aware?
Oh, boy. As a young girl, I was raised on a very humble 100-acre beef cattle farm, and we didn't have a lot of extra money, I can tell you that. And so we, pulled sweet corn every morning during the season, 100 dozen, put them in my mother's trunk. She drove us to the trailer park, and we went door to door. Not that this was our money. It was back to the family. But the fact is, I understood that you really need to make it in life. And there was no notion of mine, at least, that I would just marry and my husband would care for me, because I think I just looked around and saw people even in the day divorcing. So I always understood that you have to create opportunities for yourself or step into them when they're presented to you. And I think this is a very valuable opportunity for women that I'm bringing to the table. A whole lot of years and decades of experience of clients that have come to me, Cyrus, with the very similar questions, and challenges. And so it's just so wonderful for me to kind of feel like I have this core of women as my squad, if you will, my teams, right? And I'm coming in there, and I'm not going to blow the whistle and, make anybody do wind sprints. But what I am going to do is say, listen, this is so important. You must pull up your chair, at least get in the room and move that chair closer to the table and manage your own money because, like in the olden days, they would pat older women on the forehead and say, don't worry your little head over that, Betty. Bob will handle it. Well, that's great if Bob doesn't die prematurely or come home one day and trade you in for 230s, So it's so important. And when I use humor, which I do a lot, that gives women the foothold, if you will, and the notion that they can do it. And my whole penchant in life is we can do it, women. And I actually own that trademark.
Wow. And I think that is something that should be encouraging to them. So let's then talk about one of the things that you have added to your slashes this year, Debra, and that is being Celebrate You's Woman of the Year. Talk to us about that. What has that been like for you to, one, to have been recognized with that honor, but two, to be celebrated and to be surrounded by other women who are trying to bring their own personal best to the world?
Well, it's been a rich experience, to say the least, and it continues. One, speaking to wonderful people like yourself who have such great platforms and reaches, because that is everybody's idea, is to find the right algorithm, if you will, to reach the people for whom your message is going to be pivotal, right? I want to be a change maker. I don't want to flap my gums about the Standard & Poor and the Beige Book. I know all of that. The point is, all of that knowledge can be tucked away on a shelf if, in fact, it's not put to use. And so I am the kind of practical boots on the ground. And, in winning the Woman of the Year award by Celebrate You, it was completely humbling. First of all, there were 11 other women that had been named Woman of the Month in 2021, and so this was, of course, competition between all of us to be named Woman of the Year. And so the opportunities from a media standpoint have been welcome, in so much as I am completely committed to getting this message out to women. We can do it because women are smart, as are men, in the areas in which they're trained, Cyrus. But tell you, there's just a difference in gender. And I understand that I'm speaking as a, upper middle class white woman with the privilege that connotes, but and I'm certainly not blind to that. And I really have a wide open reach to reaching women for whom those gender pay equality stats don't represent them, the black and brown, the Asian, the Indian women. So I get it. And I think that social awareness helps me to empathize. When you said it a little bit earlier, and I want to circle back, I want to take the scare out of it. And so, for me to get on a platform and to not be whimsical about money, but to hold, $10, $100 bills, just to hold them right here by my ear and talk about money. And people I see their eyes going out like, those are real dollar bills. There's a real hundreds, I'm holding $1,000 and I want you to hold $1,000 too. I want you to get as comfortable with this as you are with other facets of your life. And so this whole award folded me into I think people kind of taking an additional note because, there are a lot of talking heads. And I think it's valuable to highlight and showcase any professional who's done it, right? We have a lot of imposters in our society, don't we? And so I've done it. I've managed money successfully for multimillionaires for 42 years. And I have managed money for people who have $150,000. And there's really a lot of general principles that apply to both of those categories. But ultimately, it's been proven, their stats at least, to suggest that it's not knowledge, Cyrus, that keeps women away from being more successful financially. It's confidence or lack of confidence.
Right.
And that's my complete platform right there. I want to build confidence, and I do that by chunking down concepts that they may have heard of but didn't understand. And when they start to understand it, it's like they have the vernacular now. They have a couple more tools in their tool belt.
Debra, does it surprise you in 2022, with all the advancements that have happened in the world, and particularly in the United States, that women are still experiencing first? Does that surprise you at this point, that we are still having things that women are just now being able to be recognized as doing?
Well, I think you make a very good point, Cyrus. Recognized as doing. I have an entire book of women who are accomplished massive things, and of course, in the earlier years, centuries ago, women dressed as men, and they led armies and stuff, and they dressed as men, and they were artists, and their work commanded a lot. And when they were, buried and died, and they were naked, they oh my heart, this laudatory person in our community and in our society was a woman, right? So I think women, because society has barred them from entry to various professions and to various awards and to various salary levels that otherwise their male counterparts have garnished without even asking for it. I think that women have pushed through at astonishing rates by comparison, especially considering the penalties. Remember, Cyrus, people were jailed, women were jailed, the suffragette movement. We don't even have to. So yeah. I do think it's high time, way, way past time, to recognize women as they make huge advancements. And I'm thinking of the woman at NASA, counting figures, the black woman who John Glenn wouldn't even go into a space capsule until she had checked out the math. What the heck was her name? Darn it. Yeah, you know who I mean, the black woman who's just mathematical whiz. So in any event, I think that these times should be celebrated now because they haven't been up until now. Best to raise the public awareness, bring all of that to the conscious that we have to honor women for the struggles that they have endured. And, of course, this has to do with any marginalized group of people, that these people and these women in particular have had to push through sexism, heteropatriarchy, et cetera, in order to make their voice known and, in some cases, begrudgingly be honored for their accomplishment. And so we're kind of used to that. As a black man, you're used to this, right? Because we have certain stop signs put up in front of us, very literally or figuratively, all of our life. And so when we break through that, it's very, very important for that to be made public so that the younger people that are looking for a leader, that are looking for hope, instead of contemplating or fulfilling a suicidal notion, they see even one person, Cyrus, and they say, if they can do it, I can do it too.
What a great message. Well, that leads us to this then, Debra. What is next for you? You've achieved so much. You've accomplished so much. What should our audience be on the lookout for from Debra Morrison next?
Well, I am really creating a movement of women who are empowering themselves to up-level their confidence, to up-level their financial confidence and their financial wealth, their independent wealth, so that they know, regardless of relationship status, they have a place in this society and they can make a difference. And I'm doing that through this We Can Do It umbrella because I've owned the trademark for a long time and I haven't used it yet. And I thought to myself, Debra, this is high time that we strut this We Can Do It women mantra, and we're going to do it on a global basis. And we're just on the cusp of launching that, Cyrus, so I look to put bones on that or flesh on that skeleton and share with you some more in a later episode. But We Can Do It women is such a powerful notion, and I want to bring substance to that. I want to give women those next steps that are solid, on which they can make little wins, and then they can build on wins, and those wins compound. And when we bring women together in that manner, in that venue, figuratively or in person, literally or electronically and through Zoom or in person, that, physiologically, women, when they're stressed especially, their best outlet is to bond with other women, whereas physiologically, when men face stress, the stats at least suggest that they isolate. They go by themselves. They figure it out. But women, when they face stress, they bond with other women. And so this is the idea that women will come together. And I've already have a Facebook group, Women Navigating Finances, in which we're doing this. And I'm going to continue to enlarge this so that we can share with each other our truths. There it is, Cyrus. We want to stand in our truths, and women are good at this. We want to forgive any past financial missteps, and we want to look towards strategizing effective, someday I'll. No, boots on the ground. What's the next step? Look at our sisters. I did this, I did this, I did this. Nothing more empowering than I get on a call with my paid clients, at least, and they're saying, I saved $2,000 from that tip that you gave on the property and casualty insurance. I turned in my extra optimum for my shore house and saved $1,500. Boy, this just makes my heart sing, because in a minute, Cyrus, literally or figuratively, they're going to add another zero or another zero or another zero. And sometimes these attention to detail moments for these women are going to save them $5,000 and $50,000 and more. And that juices me to no end.
Love it. Love it. So it definitely gives us something, Deborah, to be able to look forward to, and for women to know there's a community out there to encourage them thanks to the work that you're doing. Again, everyone, Debra Morrison has been our guest. She's not only a financial coach, author, and speaker, but also Celebrate You's Woman of the Year, recognized this year for 2021 for her great contributions to the world. And, Debra, I can't let you leave without letting our audience know, how can they stay connected with you and be able to network with you as well?
Well, I would love for them. Thank you, Cyrus, for that opportunity. I'd love for them to pop over to my website. WomenNavigatingFinances.com, WomenNavigatingFinances.com, and that will give them the entree into what's happening, as well as a checklist, which we also always rotate new freebies for our people, so that people can get at least some general strategies, if you will. My hope is that women will tune in, my YouTube channel, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, in order to get ideas that transform their vulnerability into their greatest asset, right? That's my penchant. And so I talk plain English, as you can hear, and I would love for people to connect. If you come on to WomenNavigatingFinances.com and sign up for the checklist, you'll be on our mailing list, and you'll be apprised of weekly kinds of blog entries from me, and all kinds of, I translate finances into English, plain and simple. And if your listening audience is out there saying, darn, I'd like to know that, my mom should know this, wow, then pop over, because I'd love to chat with them.
Love it. Debra, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to our next chat together.
I am as well, Cyrus. You have a great day.
You as well. And we thank you all for tuning in to another great episode of Conversations Live. So let's go make today amazing. Take care.